Mitchell Robinson, he's been in, he's been out, but when he's been on the floor, he's made an impact. Almost every minute he's on the floor. What do you like? The Knick plan obviously is to hopefully have him healthy for the playoffs, and they're going to rest him when he's healthy sometimes throughout this regular season. How do you view that? Do you view that as something that's could be a roadblock for the Knicks, a team that's getting used to one another and trying to gain a rhythm together, or is that overblown?
I mean, it might be overblown given that when he came back after not playing a lot last year, right? I mean, when he's been back in, I think when he's in, he's impactful. So you got to decide, when do you want him in? When do you want him to be impactful? I mean, it is hard. I mean, there doesn't, I guess, they back-to-backs, but then the lack of information that the Knicks give you about availability is very difficult. But yeah, I mean, we'll see if it works. I mean, I do want to say one thing. A lot of stuff is written about how he's resting starters and resting starters. But I would like to see how many times in the faster offense the starters run up and down the court, because they are running more than they're used to.
Yeah, there's definitely that. Your thoughts on Mitch, Ty, so far, and the general plan with him?
So I want to hit basically on what she just said at the end there. Now, ideally, and we all would agree with this, it's almost like Giancarlo Stanton with the Yankees. You care less about their availability during the regular season because you're prioritizing the biggest games of the year, the postseason, and you know that these guys can be series changers, as we've seen with Mitchell Robinson. But a lot of the thought coming into the year for the Knicks was like this emphasis on tempo and pace. And Mitchell Robinson throughout his career has never played heavy minutes. But with a team like this, you want to be able to see how his body is able to react and handle running up and down the floor so that you can be prepared for it in playoff games, him being able to withstand that. So again, on one hand, I understand you want to take it easy because you're prioritizing the latter part of the season. But I need to, with my own eyes, see his body can withstand it. I mean, grinded out minutes against these fast-paced, high-octane offenses where he's not so gassed. And this is a guy who hasn't played a lot of basketball the last couple of years.
Yeah, the conditioning is certainly something that he knows he needs to work on and is not where it would be ideally. But look, based on what they're going to do with him, I don't know if it's ever going to get to 100%. And also, how many minutes is he going to be out there for come playoff time? Is it going to be 20? Is it going to be 25? So just something to keep an eye on. And to me, Barbara, Mikal Bridges just looks like a different player. And when even in the locker room talking to him, sounds like a different player. What are your impressions of Mikal?
I mean, my impressions are that Mikal became a different player in the postseason last year than the one I saw the entire season. And he's just carried it over into this year. I mean, I don't know maybe part of that is also he's being used a lot more. I mean, just the fact that you go, he's a starter, but deep in the rotation, I mean, it seems like the ball will go through him sometimes. So I just think he's more, I'm not saying the guy's wasn't confident, because you obviously are not a star of that caliber and not being confident, but I think he's more confident about his relationship with his coach.
Such a good point about the postseason. Just talking to people around the team at that time, there was a noticeable shift for Bridges, and it was just he'll do anything that it took to win, and you saw that on the floor. And it wasn't about anything besides that. I'm not saying that he was consumed with himself in the regular season, but there were ups and downs in the regular season. In the playoffs, just that there was the shift in mindset was noted for Bridges, and seems like that has carried over. When you look at Josh Hart's role here, obviously fluctuating with injuries and all that, but he's coming off the bench, Ty, and he started for a team that won 50 games in the regular season last year. That's a big adjustment. What do you think of what you've seen from him? Can he make that adjustment?
Yeah, so he started 50 games last year, but remember his initial role when the Knicks traded for him wasn't to be a starter, and he got there because of circumstance, and obviously he elevated his level of play to a point where he outplayed whatever his initial role was. So as far as Josh Hart's concerned, I feel a lot better about him coming off the bench, and we saw it in the playoffs last year. He's going to be that do-it-all guy. Here's what I will say. Last night, that three-point shot looked pretty good, and I don't think he's going to be as efficient as he was shooting it as we saw in that game against the Mavs. But teams are going to dare Josh to shoot. When you've got Bridges, has mastered that corner three. We know Jalen and Cat are great shooters. OG's upped his game up from the three-point range. You're going to have to take away something from this Knick offense. And what teams are going to try to take away is those other guys and force Josh to shoot it. So I think it's important for him to hit at that clip, shoot it with confidence, because if he's doing that, I mean, they just have too many offensive weapons for them to be stopped. So that's what I'm paying attention to mostly when it comes to Josh Hart and his production.
And Barbara, I think you would agree with me. He makes our jobs easier just by being interesting and introspective and candid at moments. And do you see, to me, he's played pretty well more often than not. He seems like he's adjusting to this thing, but he's also said, sometimes he will think about the minutes and not starting. And what have you seen from him in terms of the adjustment here?
I mean, I was a little worried about him during training camp because he was injured, obviously. I mean, what do you have, 2 separate injuries, I think, or something, or he's coming back from one. And I wasn't really sure what Mike thought about him either. I think, Mike trusts him a lot more too. I mean, the thing is with Josh, he does so much, you want him out on the floor, but Ty's correct. I mean, he's the guy you're going to force to shoot. So you want him out there because he can, rebound, like he's 7 feet tall. He makes those hustle plays. Sometimes he makes kind of a bad pass at a bad time, but so I mean, everybody does something like that, but it's really the shooting that's going to come down. If you have those guys on the floor, that's the guy that they're going to leave in coverage and go double up someone else.
Guys, let's go to the injury updates here. Obviously, Jalen Brunson coming back against Dallas after missing 2 games. He looked like I don't want to say didn't miss a step, but he scored 28 in his return and they won the game. I'm surprised that he came back so soon. I know he's a quick healer. This was just another instance of that, missing just 2 games with that ankle. OG Anunoby, Knicks were saying that he'll be reevaluated in 2 weeks. And so what that means is probably at least 3 weeks he's going to be out from the time that he got hurt. And hamstrings are tricky. OG, they're going to be cautious there. So I don't think they're going to rush him back. And usually when you see that 2-week designation, it's at least 3. So we'll see where he is in terms of that 2 week stretch. Maybe the Knicks will give us an update. Maybe we'll hear more there.